it's early in the morning, so we're not drinking yet.
Yeah, no. And it's only Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay, so welcome to another episode of the Scratch Track. I have here a very special guest because I haven't met this man before, so this is gonna be a good episode. I'm very excited. We've interacted on social media, and not actually physically met yet, so which is exciting.
I feel like that happened a lot during quarantine. I feel
Yeah.
like there was a lot of us that just kind of didn't know each other. And we're just like, hey,
Oh,
hi,
yeah.
this is who you are.
Yeah, right. Like, oh, good to finally meet you, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Chris Francisco. He's a local musician in Tampa, St. Pete area. And before we get started, to know a little bit about him, plug your shit, social media, your music, whatever, all that.
Yeah,
Go for it.
Cool. Facebook, Instagram, Chris Francisco Music, chrisfranciscofl.com is my website.
Nice.
Don't have any music out currently, but that's being worked on at the moment. So
Good, man. That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's exciting. So you and I, so the first memory that I have of us is that you actually hooked me up with a gig at Cafe Racer.
yes.
And that was, I love that spot.
Yep.
I just was so bummed that it was raining that day. And like nobody was out on the bike track. I was like, damn it.
Yeah,
was
that
so
actually happened the first time I played there too.
Yeah.
The very first time she just reached out to me randomly, and then the very first time I played there, I got there and it was pouring.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she's like, okay, well you're gonna play inside, and I was like,
What?
Yeah.
Where?
Like you know where you remember
where the benches are?
No, you remember inside like where they had the Christmas tree? Like inside the cafe, like right in the corner.
Okay.
Yeah, so she basically like put me like right in front of the Christmas tree.
Oh boy.
But like, you know what, like the weirdest thing about it was, you know how like every venue you play like has different floors which have different reverb and stuff like that?
Yep.
I hate, like, for some reason I really hate like concrete style floors
yeah, they
because
suck.
the reverb is terrible.
Yeah.
So like when you're playing, you're like, why do I sound so weird? Like everything's echoing, and it's like
Yeah.
it's not even my fault.
So, and you have a not extensive setup, but you set up your loops
Yep.
and the pedals and everything too. Like
Yeah.
when I was playing there, it was just I just go straight through. I do one guitar, one speaker. I don't even use a monitor half the
Yeah,
time. honestly.
I mean, even when I played that gig, I had to just play straight acoustic because
Yeah.
I tried to do my loops and everything just sounded so echoey and weird, and I
Yeah.
was just like, no, I don't want to deal with this today.
Yeah, I get you. So, okay, when did you when was your like what was your first foray into the local music scene, I guess? What was like the first time you played or first time you knew you wanted to like go in? I want to hear about all that.
So, well, I'm originally from Connecticut. I wasn't born here.
Interesting.
So I moved down here about, I think we're going on like 6 years now, and I didn't actually move down here for music. When I was in high school, you know, I really got into playing guitar. I started kind of getting a little bit more heavy into music. I was doing just kind of open mics, wasn't doing anything crazy.
Right.
Then I moved down here, and it was kind of like, well, I can't pursue music because, you know, I need stability. So,
Right.
you know, got a full-time job and
Yeah.
worked my life away for 2-3 years, and then my brother, who was already down here at the time, managed a restaurant called CK's down on Clearwater Beach.
Okay.
And when I was trying to, for some reason, like one day I was just like, oh, well, this looks kind of fun. Like maybe I should just try to do this as like a side thing,
Yeah.
like just on the weekends and whatever.
And then you got hooked.
Well, so I played one gig there. It went really well. And then, you know, I started to get booked a couple more times. And then, you know, kind of started branching out from there, started meeting some people.
Right.
And then started playing like every weekend. And then I got to a point where I was like, I woke up one day, no joke. This is like the craziest story. I woke up one day and said, I don't know why I'm working full time, like in a warehouse, because I was working in a car parts warehouse at the time, which was literally the worst job probably I've had in my life.
That's exactly where I came from.
Yeah,
too.
it was. Oh God, it was rough.
Yeah.
So I woke up one day and I'm like, I don't know why I'm working in a warehouse when I could just be doing music, which is what I love to do as a full time job.
Yep.
So I literally walked into work that day and I said, hey, I'm
See ya.
done. I'm out of here. Like literally 9 in the morning. The manager looked at me with like the weirdest look, and he's like, "What?
What?
I'm like, yeah, I'm quitting. I'm going to do music." And he's like, okay, that sounds good. Bye. And yeah, and that was 2.5 years ago.
That's funny.
So yeah.
That's really funny. Yeah, it's funny you say the auto parts warehouse. That's actually the last job I had until I got full time. But I had to work at getting it full time before I was actually full time. Like I played on the weekends for probably 3 years. Mm-hmm. I didn't have anything during the week really. Maybe a random Thursday night here and there, and I do like open mics during the week to try to get opportunities that way. But it wasn't anything consistent enough during the week to where I could like pay my bills.
Yeah.
So I quit my day job in December of 2019, and then 3 months later, everything gets fucked. So I was like, great.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was horrible. So, but I had been doing it for a while, and like I played open mics down in South Florida, and like kind of got used to the crowds there and everything. I feel like that's half the battle anyway in the beginning, just trying to figure out how to handle people and play what they're gonna want to hear in the beginning, and then once you develop an identity of what you are all about, then you can stay consistent with that. And like I don't know, it was tough in the beginning. I was playing a lot of stuff I didn't want to play just because I needed stage time. I was like, all right, let's just make these guys happy for like 15 minutes and I'll be out of here. I'll be out of your hair for another 6 days.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that. Playing, now full time for, almost 3 years. I mean, the countless amount of venues and the variety of venues that I played.
Yeah.
You kind of realize that this is like Florida in general is just a weird scene to where like every venue you play is different. Yeah. Every crowd is different. Mm-hmm. So like you almost have to like, there's going to be stuff that you do not want to play, but like it's going to be the stuff that people want to hear and may make you more tips.
Oh yeah.
But I've kind of gotten to the point where I just play literally everything.
Yeah.
And I've learned almost a song in almost every genre at this point that like, what? I have all my bases covered. And
right.
That's where it's going to lead me.
So what year was that when you decided that you were done in the warehouse?
That was the summer of 2018.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. And you were how old are you now actually, by the way?
24.
24. Oh wow, you're young, man.
Yeah.
24. Okay, yeah. So I just turned 28. And I mean we're close in age.
Yeah.
I just remember what I was doing at 24, and it wasn't getting my life together. It was quite the opposite actually. Yeah, I met Jasmine when I was 25. Yeah, when I was 25. Last day of almost last day, me being 25, and then after that, I got my shit together. I was like, all right, she's pretty cool. I gotta settle my shit down.
Yeah. I gotta get my life together.
Yeah,
crap.
I gotta stop drinking so much. What am I doing? Speaking of which, I'm a little groggy because I'm continuing the celebration. We're taping this right on the heels of the Bucks victory, so I'm a little groggy today, as you can see. Did a lot of tequila. I brought over a bottle of tequila to Jasmine's parents' house. And I was like, hey, let's do a shot every time the Bucks score because I thought we were going to get our ass kicked. So I was like, I think we're safe here.
Mistakes
I might not have
were
to
made.
Yeah. So I was like, we're taking 3 shots before halftime. I was like, yikes, this is not going to be. But what a moment. So, all right. So tell me a little bit about your like influences, like the first time that maybe somebody that you heard that you're like, oh, I want to do that, or I can do that, or just walk me through like the beginnings of your listening career rather than playing. Like what kind of swung you into wanting to be like an entertainer in a sense?
Okay. So it's weird. I've always been like a very outgoing person and like it's just been my personality, and I'm not like afraid to put myself in front of people because quite frankly, like I don't particularly, well, this may sound bad, I don't particularly care what people like view me as, you know what I'm saying? Because like at the end of the day, like I'm my own person, and I'm gonna I'm gonna perform like how I perform, and you know what, that's just what you're gonna get.
Yeah, you can't think that way when you're in front of people constantly.
And there's a lot of people that struggle with that, and it's understandable, like especially a lot of people that don't have a lot of performing experience. Like you like. What I've realized, like I'm gonna go off subject here.
Go for it.
What I've realized in almost 3 years of being full time, I have literally probably experienced every weird thing possible, and every like awkward experience, like playing shows that like at this point nothing surprises me.
Yeah, and you say that now, and there will be something in the next year where you're like, What the hell?
Listen,
I thought I checked this box already.
Listen, I said that like 2 months ago,
Yeah,
and then
happened again?
And then this past weekend, it just literally like, holy cow, took a 180. And I was like, wow,
Yeah.
we'll get to that later.
We got to get into that. Yeah, for sure.
We're
I'm
gonna
excited.
get that later.
I'm excited for that.
But so listening experience. So I was huge into Maroon 5. That was like the very first like band like album that I was sold on.
Was that Songs About Jane? Yeah, I love that album.
Oh my god,
I
so
love that
amazing.
album.
So I got really huge into Maroon 5, and then it was weird because my parents were so like polar opposites in what they listened to. So like
Same.
when I would used to go work with my dad when I was younger, my dad was a huge classic rock guy. Like literally nothing else, classic rock.
Yep.
That was it.
Yep.
And then like if I'm running errands with my mom, like we're listening to like pop.
Yeah.
And like Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
Eagles.
Yeah.
That kind of.
The radio stuff.
Yeah, essentially. So like I had both sides of the spectrum there, and so I don't know. I think that's what kind of like gave me my open mindedness to like exploring different genres that I necessarily probably wouldn't if I didn't have that.
Right.
So yeah, I would say those two, like that whole thing kind of really shaped what I've listened to. And nowadays I just listen to a lot of different stuff. So
Yeah. My mom was big into, the piano rock stuff, Billy Joel, Elton John. She loved Jimmy Buffett. We listened to a lot of Disney soundtracks when I was a little kid.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we had that going on. But my dad, my dad had I used to steal my dad's CDs when I was a teenager, because before 102.5 The Bone was a all talk radio. They were the classic rock station around here.
Yeah.
So it was all like AC/DC, Van Halen, Ted Nugent, Pink Floyd, Black Sabbath, Ozzy, all that stuff, Zeppelin, and all that. So my dad had all those CDs, so I would take them, burn them onto the computer, and then put them on my iPod.
Nice.
And then never give the CDs back. Because I'm like, Dad, you're not. The funny thing about my dad is that like if you don't tell him you took something of his, he won't look for it. If you tell him that you did, he will ask you about it every fucking day. Like he'd be like, hey, can I get my CDs back? It's like, Dad, I don't. No, I'm using them. Okay. But yeah, that was the beginning of my listening to, is that kind of like that wide array of anything from like the fucking Little Mermaid soundtrack to like my dad used to tease like about how Dave Matthews and John Mayer would sound on the radio, like make fun of their voices, and now he loves them. But like in the beginning, he's like, "What the hell is this?" Yeah, it's funny. I always tell that story about he'd do the crash into me, the falsetto thing, and like just tease him about it. Yeah, like come on, man. So, so when you moved down here from Connecticut, have you played live music in Connecticut before?
Not like
what you do now.
Not like what I do now. I was just playing a lot of open mics. I had musician friends. We would run open mics, and we would just kind of like have fun with it.
Right.
It was never a serious thing. Like it wasn't something that like out of high school I was like, all right, so
this is it.
Like I'm gonna do music as a full-time thing. Because honestly, like to be real, like if I had stayed in Connecticut, I wouldn't have this job.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. Because there's not the opportunity there is not the same opportunity as down here.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. There's not, I mean, there's a live music scene, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But again, it's nowhere near what Florida is.
Yeah, we're pretty fortunate with that. And I mean, obviously with the pandemic and everything going on, we don't have to talk about it because everybody fucking talks about it. But just the fact that we are lucky enough to have venues that would stick their necks out and to kind of not break the rules, but to find a way to accommodate everybody in a safe setting to get you back on your feet. Like I've places that, 5 or 6 off the top of my head that like really pulled me up, and got me out of the shit that was going on. But a lot of stuff, like I don't know what other states are like in this setting.
Yeah.
Like I have no frame of reference. So I feel very lucky to not only pick this as a career and do what I love, but to also be in a state where we have a little bit more freedom. And think about it, whatever. You can think whichever way you want to about it, but don't she's gonna get tangled in here. Come on.
Oh. The puppy wants to get involved.
Yeah. You can think whichever way you want. I understand it, but like as musicians, man, like we're just trying to get back to work. You know, we're not doing anything maliciously. We're just trying to work, man.
Yeah.
We're just trying to make money. So it's a little bit of a different situation, obviously, here because there are places still open. But you know, if you lived out in a state that's really locked down right now, I'd be going back to work at a job that I hated or something. You know, we'd have to.
Yeah, like perfect example. I just went to Illinois for Christmas because my girlfriend's family and her friends live up there. That's where she's from, and I sat there for 2 weeks, and I'm like, how do you people like survive right now? Because literally, there's like there's nothing open.
Yeah.
Like you can't do anything.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and it's crazy because then you come back to Florida, you're like, well,
yeah,
you can kind of just not necessarily do whatever you want, but it's like there's
some
a
places.
lot more to do. Yeah, some places like that.
But yeah, no, I get it. I mean, it's a tricky job right now too, because like I just want to work, man.
Yeah,
you know, that's all. I just want to fucking work, and I just want to be. I want to be that guy that like made it through this and not. You know, you see a lot of these people that had this horrible thing not happen to them. We probably would have had mediocre music in more places, but like there's guys that just didn't want to deal with the stress of doing this, that couldn't hack it, and then they're done. So it kind of eliminates it kind of boosts the talent pool because the people that are really good and that really want to do this stayed with it. You know, there's nobody that's like that's like, you know, most of those guys are like, well, is it really worth it? Then they just go back to work, you know. But I mean, like, but people that are like make a living out of this, doing this, that aren't the weekenders, that are like the daily players almost, like those guys are the ones that are making it out of this and getting better from it. I feel like I've gotten better just because that's the only thing I've done. Like I mean, when I couldn't leave the house, all I was doing was writing and playing and practicing and stuff like that. So like
I mean, it was all a matter of like when I was sitting in my house, like I turned to just, you know, live streaming. I try to play as much as possible. You know, I got lucky enough that there was a venue that I did play at. Somebody recommended me to someone else, and you know, I ended up playing a couple like driveway concerts where I sat in someone's driveway. And like the whole entire neighborhood like came out and like sat in their own respective driveways, and like I was like playing music.
That's so
they
great.
were enjoying, you know, I say like, and honestly,
how
like,
good did that feel?
Man, like literally, like the first time I played was like I think like it was probably like a month into the whole lockdown thing, and it was absolutely like insane. Like I can't even describe like how that felt because I was like, wow, like, you know, you don't realize like how good we have it and like how like fun this job is until like it's like literally ripped from you in the snap of a finger.
Oh yeah, I remember the live stream thing being, you know, that was my only means of income for a long time, and then I was relying on the extreme generosity of these people. I was like, holy fuck, and then, but you know, I get so accustomed to just playing for the TV screen, and like I would sit on the couch over here and like hook it up to the TV so I would see like who was coming in, who was saying hi, you know, whatever. And I remember going back and playing an actual gig in front of people. It was months, dude. It was a long time. And then I heard somebody clap, and I was like, "What is this?" Like, wait, that happens. I forgot about that. You forget about the little things.
It was like weird, like actually going to play like actual venues, like you know, like 3-4 months later, and like the first time I did, and like you just hear people clapping, and I'm just like, what? This is weird. I'm used to just playing in front of a computer screen to where I hear nobody but myself.
Oh yeah, it was odd though. I mean, it was luckily we're getting to the point where you know, we're all kind of getting a little bit more relaxed with it, and not everybody's not so uptight about it. Yeah. I had it too, by the way. Did you?
Yeah, same.
You got it.
Yep.
So there we go. We're immune. All right. So if we're less than 6 feet apart, go fuck yourself. Okay, it's fine. Don't worry about it. God, all these people like. It's funny because like when we watch people on TV, like Jasmine and I, and they try to do like the sportscasters and everything like that, when they try to do the 6 feet apart, Jasmine's like, oh, they're distancing themselves, and I was like, you think I could lay down in between those guys? I was like, that's not 6 feet. Like, think about that. But yeah, we just tease about that all the time. But yeah, I got it on Christmas Day.
Oh
yeah, dude.
Shit.
Yeah, Jasmine had it, and then I had it, and we locked it down. Nobody in either of our families got it. Nobody.
Wow.
Like, it was just us. So yeah, she I don't know if she wants me to talk about this, but she lost her smell for a couple weeks, and she lost her taste for about 48 hours. And then I just had like a bad flu, but I was waking up with like, it was like a week-long hangover. I was like, what is fucking happening, dude? I was so foggy, so disoriented, and that on top of the fact that like I wasn't leaving the house. And that fucks with my head. Like, if I don't go outside and like get fresh air or go work out or like go see other people, it messes with my head for days. I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing?
So I got it. Well, I should say we got it. I think it was about the end of September when we got it, and so it was weird because like I had like gone and worked out one day, came home, and I was like, I don't know, my body felt weird, and I was like, wait a second. I'm like, I didn't do that much. I'm like, this is odd. Yeah. So then the next day I woke up and like it went 180, and I woke up and I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So then she started to get like these headaches, like, and she was complaining about it. I'm like, all right, like, let's just go make sure, like, whatever, like, be safe. So we went to go get tested that Friday, and ended up both being positive.
Oof.
And then the very next morning, I woke up and I was like, oh, I'm going to go get a Gatorade from the fridge. And I went to go drink it, and I'm like,
what's this?
I'm like, wait a second. I remember Gatorade having taste. I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like, but here I am thinking that like, okay, maybe my nose is congested, like whatever. Yeah. Like I'm just gonna.
I have that all the time.
I'm gonna sniff, and then I'm just gonna go again, and then I just didn't taste it. So then I walked into my girlfriend's room. She's laying in bed, and like she's looking at me confused, and I'm like, here, tell me if you can taste this. Yeah. She drinks it, and she can't taste it either. I'm like, God. So like for a good like week, it was I think it was probably about a week and a half. We couldn't taste anything, couldn't smell anything. Literally, it was the worst thing for me, and that was the worst thing about it. Like, literally, I had maybe flu symptoms for like a good like 24 to 48 hours, and then I was fine.
Yeah.
Like, my body was kind of just achy here and there, but like it wasn't anything bad. But like, I'm a person that likes food a lot.
Oh.
And like the fact that like I'm sitting here eating food and not being able to taste it was the weirdest thing ever. But like my body was like, you need to eat. And I'm like, well, I can't taste the food. So like, screw you.
Yeah, man. As Ryan Sickler would say, it's booty eating season, you know? But anyway, did you taste the salt and stuff? Because that's what Jasmine said is that the only thing she could taste was like the salt and stuff.
I could somewhat taste the salt and things, but that was about maybe the extent of it.
Yeah. It's so weird, man.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, we're lucky that I'm lucky that I didn't have any lasting effects from the
neither
stuff.
Neither did I.
Did it fuck with your like breathing techniques and like singing and anything like that?
Not really. No.
It got me a little bit like my endurance is shit right now. Like because I'm still a month and a half out of it or whatever, or a month out of it.
Yeah.
And I went on a run. Like after I was done with everything, I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna try to work out, dude. It took me like 28 minutes to run 2 miles. I was like, what is going on? I'm out here like, how far have I gone? Like what? Yeah.
Wait, I've only gone half a mile. What?
And I'm bigger, so it takes a lot more to move me. But I mean, I was like, it doesn't take me this fucking long to do this. I was like, God, I'm so tired right now. And I got back to the house. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, the endurance is like it's slowly coming back, and obviously like. During that time, like I was eating like shit because I could still taste.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck it, let's just blow it up. So, I gained 10 pounds, and then I had a stomach issue. Didn't eat for like 2 days because of all the cold medicine I was taking. It dehydrated me and like fucked with my insides.
Yep.
And then it was bad. And so I lost 10 pounds in 2 days after that. Dude, I fluctuate like a motherfucker. It's so nuts.
I wish I could.
It's so nuts. I hate it though. I hate it. It was ever since college, man. I was a string bean in high school. I was probably $185 like junior senior year, and I'm like 260 now. So like 10 years. That's what we call creeping obesity, kids.
Yeah. When I
go to the doctor.
When I was in high school, like literally, I felt like I could eat whatever the hell I wanted to, and like didn't gain a single pound. If I gained weight, it was because I was in the gym 5 days a week, and like I was like in probably the best shape I had been.
Same.
And then nowadays, I like go to the gym like 3, 4, or 5 days a week, depending, and I can't eat whatever I want because regardless, like even if I go to the gym, if I eat whatever I want, I'm still not gonna freaking lose any weight, and it's like what the hell. Like I can't just go eat a whole pizza like I used to because that makes me gain like 10 pounds.
Yeah,
like I don't understand
immediately, like right out of the gate. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a dangerous thing to have as a teenager, and then you start to live on your own. Like, oh wait, this affects my body in different ways. I didn't know. Yeah, it's wild. Okay, so getting back into the music. So did you go to high school in Connecticut?
Yeah.
You moved down here what year? I'm sorry if you already said this.
2014. No, 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's when you graduated?
Well, I graduated in 2014.
2014, okay.
Did a semester in college, hated it.
Yeah.
And then moved down here.
Good thing you only did a semester. Homeboy over here did 4 years and only did 2.5 technically, so.
Oh.
Yikes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, they're after me. I'm paying student loans for shit that I didn't get anything out of, which is great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I wish I would have gone that route because immediately, like, I did 2 successful years in college, and then after that, it was just I had an opportunity to play an open mic, and I was like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, oh, I'm still going to school technically, and then no, was not. But yeah, that's a whole nother story. That's in one of the earlier episodes that we did with James. I told a little bit about that story, but yeah, I got caught. I got an a letter from the school to my mom's house. My mom sent a picture of the letter to me and my dad when me and my dad were on the way to go see a movie. And I was like, this is gonna be a long fucking movie. So it was not good.
Oh boy.
But yeah, but that was what led me into music. It took me a while. It took me a while to get my feet underneath me with everything because I wasn't good. Like I didn't start playing guitar until I was 18. When did you start playing?
I was like a sophomore in high school, so like 16.
Okay. Yeah, and I played drums for a long time, and I still kind of do now. But guitar was like a totally different thing. But yeah. I always thought that I was like, I'm not smart enough to play. I can't do it. I'm like, my fingers hurt. I always was telling myself that I couldn't do it. And then
Same.
like I sat down for like a month one time. I was like, oh, I can play 9 songs now in like a month. Mm-hmm. Just simple stuff,
Yep.
you know? And then after that, it was like, okay, then let's just start learning stuff that you want to play now that you know the basics. And then it was there. So when did you start like really grind? And did you take lessons?
So when my parents got me, I believe it was a guitar for my birthday, or no, it was Christmas. It was Christmas. I like every day after school, like I would go in my room, close the door. I would do my homework, and then I literally sit there, like I had my laptop in front of me. I'd pull up like little like chord sheets and shit like that, and I would literally just start learning like simple songs. And I just kind of did it that way. I took a guitar course at senior year because I had enough credits to graduate.
Nice.
And I wasn't taking no damn AP class because guess what? I'm not that intellectually competent to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I tried. Let's talk about that real quick. I tried doing. I think it was AP. What was it? AP History or something like that, or AP
A push or whatever. AP US History.
Yeah, AP US History. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And yeah, the first day, literally the first day, and it was a teacher that I really liked. Like I had him for a couple years. It was great. He was like, "Listen, like you're really good at this. Like just take the AP. I promise it's not going to be that bad." And I'm like, "Okay, no big deal." The first day, class ends, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, just so you guys know, I'm giving you guys a 500-word essay that you have to complete by tomorrow."
No,
and I'm like,
dude.
I'm like,
not what we talked about, man.
I'm sitting here, a senior in high school, like literally, like I could graduate if I wanted to, and I'm just like, why am I gonna waste my time doing a 500-word essay? I'm like, I do not want to do this. And literally, I went to him the next day. I said, listen, I love you, man, but I cannot do this.
Yeah. You're ruining my life, man. Yeah, I did AP Psych, AP Calc, AP English. I think English. Yeah. And then there was another one that I did. I passed none of the AP tests, but I did it because all my friends were that smart. I had super smart friends in high school, so it was like I was trying to be as smart as them. Yeah. When who are we kidding? Okay. I just wasn't that kind of smart in book smart stuff, but like some of my friends in that situation, not the people that I'm really close with, but like peers, like friends of friends in that class, they're dumb as fuck outside of books, dude. You know who I'm talking about. So it's brutal. Like they can memorize anything, and then like the chance to apply themselves is like close to nothing because they just followed a formula of like college, internship, job, and then they just fucking stare at a screen under lights all day, and then they wonder why they're like drinking themselves to death slowly, like because you hate it.
Yeah.
Do something that you love, man. I don't get it.
It's kind of one of those things. That's like you can be smart in books as all you want, but you could be dumber dumber than a bag of rocks when it comes to like common sense.
100%.
I've met way too many of those people.
100%. Most of those people come to our shows and heckle us.
Yes,
those are those people. All right, hit me with that story. I want to hear this really bad.
Okay. So I
got a couple heckler stories.
Yeah. So last weekend I played a show at the Galley, and I play there now.
I saw that. Yeah, that was Saturday before Super Bowl, right?
Yep.
Was that it? For in St. Pete? Is that where it is?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Downtown.
Right.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So I played there a couple times, and I've noticed that the crowd can be, a little interesting. You can get the really rowdy crowd. You can kind of get the crowd that doesn't even give a shit that you're there.
Is it a younger crowd there typically?
Usually, yeah, it can be, but sometimes you could pull in the older crowd too. It just really depends. They have a an in-house system where people
good.
walking on the sidewalk can hear you from outside.
Nice, okay.
Stuff like that. So this Saturday before the Super Bowl it was like a younger crowd.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was nuts. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's start off with that. It was crazy. So it was like a kind of more like an old school hip hop kind of vibe.
Okay.
And I was like, okay,
Love it.
no big deal. I got this. So here I am, and I play an R. Kelly song.
Uh-oh.
Now, mind you, we both know what R. Kelly has done, and
I didn't do this, man. Of course, yeah.
And listen,
that's stupid. Yeah,
not saying that I condone it whatsoever, but you know what? Like, listen, at the end of the day, his music is still good, and I'm gonna play it regardless.
Very true.
He's
got bangers.
He really does have bangers. So I played an R. Kelly song.
What'd you play?
Ignition.
Love it.
Yeah, love the freaking song.
Love it.
And so this lady walks in the door.
Oh boy.
And I swear to you, I've never heard someone yell louder in my life on the top of their lungs. Well, because it was loud in there. So she wanted to make her point.
Yeah.
And so she looks at me dead in the eyes, and all she says is, R. Kelly is a rapist.
Oh boy.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh boy.
And so, like, I had a group of people, like, I had, like, actually multiple groups of people that were, like, staying there to watch me play, and they're all looking at me like, what the hell just happened? And I'm like, okay. So she goes to the bathroom, and I'm like, okay, I thought that was the end of it. Like, no big deal, whatever. So then she comes out of the bathroom. I'm still playing the song, mind you. And she stops right in front of me and just continues to yell at me. She says, R. Kelly is a rapist. Fuck R. Kelly.
Oh my God.
I don't know why the fuck you're playing R. Kelly. This is bullshit. Why? And I'm just like, looking at this lady and I'm like, don't you have somewhere else to be?
Yeah.
Like, because clearly, like, no one else in the place had an issue with me playing it. And then she had, like, the audacity to sit at the bar with, like, whoever she was with and then just continue, like, just stay there.
Like, you didn't just act like a complete bitch?
Like, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
I love people that do that. I was like, are we going to pretend that you didn't just fucking do that? Get out of here, dude.
She just acted like she did nothing wrong. And I'm sitting there, like, I literally, like, and I've never, like, in my, almost 3 years of playing full-time, playing gigs, I've never actually stopped for, like, more than 10 seconds and looked so confused in my life. Yeah. I was just like, what? And, like, people are looking at me, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do. Like, that was just weird, dude.
This is me being a dick, but you know what I would have done if she did that? I would have been like, all right, this next hour is dedicated to Michael Jackson. Here we go. How you like that, lady?
Oh,
just separate it, man. Just separate the art from the artist a little bit, all right? Don't do that. Everybody gets so wound up with that. Like, look, I'm not saying that R. Kelly is a good guy. He's a piece of garbage.
We're not condoning what he did.
However, he's got some bangers, man. Okay? Michael Jackson was touching kids for a long time. Mm-hmm. Thriller still pops, though, man. It slaps, as the kids say, as the TikTokers, whatever the fuck.
Exactly.
It hits, man. So, look, musicians are typically very troubled people sometimes, whether they act out on those psychological shortcomings is neither here nor there, but the fact of the matter remains that a lot of these guys have really good fucking music.
Exactly.
So mind your business, lady. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. Dude, it's downtown St. Pete. There's 100 fucking bars within a square mile of that place. Go somewhere else.
And I, you know what? I bet you anybody else that's playing in downtown St. Pete is probably doesn't have a problem with playing R. Kelly too.
Right.
So I mean, like, I played R. Kelly at plenty of other places, and no random lady has done that. So yeah.
Oh yeah. So I have a heckler story too. This happened to me right before COVID shut everything down. I want to say it was probably February. And I was playing at a bar, which I won't disclose. I don't know if I've told this while we recorded, but anyway, this is one of my favorites. Old drunk bat comes in here. She's with a much younger lady who has seemingly handled her liquor way better than this woman tonight. So she's kind of the chaperone, if you will. It's not, there's maybe 7 or 8 people in the bar. I'm winding down towards the end of the set, okay? She doesn't clap. She doesn't tip. She doesn't do anything. The only thing she asks me is she goes, Jimmy Buffett? Not, do you know any Jimmy Buffett? Just Jimmy Buffett with a question mark. So I played Jimmy Buffett. She does not clap. She does not tip. So now I'm like, I'm going to have some fun with this fucking dickhead. So she then goes, do you know any Irish music? Because I was playing in an Irish pub. So those of you that know me, process of elimination, figure it out. There's only a few Irish pubs I play at. But it is not the that's a whole new ball game. I don't know if you've been there. I would recommend you don't do that. Okay. That's a story for another day. But I was at an Irish bar, so she asked me if I played any Irish music. I said no. And she goes, ha! Starts laughing at me. I was like, and then I'm like, I'm not dealing with this. I was like, what's so funny? She goes, well, you're in an Irish bar, and you don't play any Irish music. I was like, what are you drinking? She goes, red wine. I was like, why aren't you drinking a Guinness? You're in an Irish bar. And she goes, I have never been talked to like she didn't expect me to like snap back at it. Mm-hmm. So the whole time, that's the thing. So I heard, do you know who Eric Griffin is? Montez from Workaholics?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was on a podcast recently. I've been quoting a lot of this stuff because he's so fucking funny. What he says to his hecklers is like, listen, I'm a parking attendant and you've parked in an area where you're not supposed to park. I can give you a ticket, but I'm going to tell you to move on first. Okay? So basically, like when somebody's going back and forth with you, like, listen, if you keep going there, if you keep parking there, you're going to get a ticket.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you to move the first time. Okay? I let it go one time. And then if it keeps happening, you're mine for the rest of the night. I will humiliate you. I will. Because I have a microphone and I'm going to fucking win. I'm funnier than you. I'm quicker than you. I'm bigger than you, most likely. Don't do that. Like, just don't be mean. If you don't like the entertainment, you don't have to stay. You don't. So she then tells me, apparently she was going to Yelp that night. And she was like, I'm going to Yelp. What's your name? And I was like, it's on the sign right there. And she was like, okay, I'm going to Yelp you and tell everybody to never come see you again. I was like, please do it. I would love to read it. So much to my disappointment, I woke up the next day. I did not have a Yelp review, which I would have loved. I would have loved to read it. But she, I overheard her saying, when I was taking a break, I overheard her going like, he's a smart ass. So I stood up. I was like, you talking about me? And then she was like, yeah, I've never been talked to like this. This is unacceptable. She was like, I've run businesses before. And if I was the manager of this place and I heard you talking to people like that, I would fire you. I'm like, good. Tell him. I was like, he's back there. You want me to get him for you? Like, dude, stop it. Stop acting better than everybody else. Like, I'm not. Look, I played your fucking Margaritaville, so shut the fuck up and give me a tip and stop complaining, okay? But yeah, she was great. I've had countless other heckler people. I mean, I had a guy one time recently. This isn't recently. This is probably about a year ago now. But I'm playing at the Nona, which you've played there before, yeah, yeah. Great guys, great vibe. Yep. You know, it's a small Italian style pizza place. Yeah. Nobody wants to go like full-fledged, like, you know, rock and roll the whole time, right? Yeah. Like, so I'm playing some relaxed acoustic vibes. That's what they do there. Yeah. This guy's at the bar, comes up with money in his hand, and he starts going like this, like snapping at me. He's like, can we get something more, more upbeat? And I was like, please. I hate those freaking people. I was like, please go sit down. And then he goes back to the bar. He's like, you told me to go sit down. I was like, yeah, I told you to fucking sit down. He's like, most of the time, though, if you, like, correct me if I'm wrong here, but most of the time when they say, can you, excuse me, when they say, can you play something a little bit more upbeat, what they mean is, can you play something that I recognize? Because they just want to sing along to something. Yeah. Rather than it being like, you know what I mean? Like there's a string of songs that they aren't really familiar with, and they want something that they can like kind of vibe to. Yeah, yeah. The pace of the song only matters if you don't know it. Exactly. That's my interpretation. Yeah, that's what I think they mean by that. Because honestly, you can dance to anything, dude.
Yeah.
I had a couple slow dancing to. I was playing the Hurt Johnny Cash version. I was like, if you can slow down. Oh no, not that. Was it that? I can't remember. But it was a really bad, like dark, like not a love song.
Yeah.
I was like, if you like the whole play something I can dance to thing, you can dance to anything. Figure it out.
Oh yeah.
That's what dancing is.
Yeah.
Figure it out, man.
So to quickly talk about an Irish bar story real quick. So I don't know if you know who Ken Apperson is.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Great guy.
Yeah. I've been doing some stuff with him. And so we played a duo show. I think it was like towards the end of last year.
You do the cajon for those, or do you switch, or what do you guys do?
Okay,
because I know I saw you do that for the Sunday session, the beginning. You guys did that.
Yeah, so that was like total on the spot thing.
Yeah.
I don't play cajon often, but like it's fun to do. And
of course,
you know.
Of course, yeah.
So what happened was we were at Katie Talbert's house one night, and Katie was like, "Hey, I have I need a duo for this bar in downtown St. Pete for Friday." And she looked at me, and then I looked at Ken, and Ken looked at me, and he was like, "Well, we can do it." And I was like, "How do you expect us to do it?" We actually ran double loop pedals that night.
Whoa.
It was
That's
very
dope.
Interesting, and actually went a lot better than expected.
That's sick. That's sick.
Here's what happened that night. So this guy walks in. And, obviously, again, you've experienced this. He walks in and says, "Hey, you guys play any Irish music?"
Oh, my God.
Of course, again, Irish bar, people expect you to play Irish music. Listen, I don't even know an Irish song to save my life. So,
I don't either.
Exactly.
I don't either. I know songs by Irish people.
But he's holding he was holding money in his hand.
Yeah, of course.
But,
holding you guys hostage.
Yeah, so then, me and Ken were just like, "No, we don't know any Irish music, yada, yada." And this dude flipped a shit real quick. He was like, "Well, fuck y'all," and then literally just walked out of the bar. And I was like, and me and Ken looked at each other what the hell? So then the funny part about it was then I think it was 20 minutes later he tried walking back in and giving us a tip.
Nope.
And because he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I feel bad for what I did."
Bye.
Ken literally looked at him and said, "I don't want your money."
Yeah.
And then he tried to give it to the bartender, and she was like, "I don't want your money." And then the manager was like, "Please get out."
Good man, Ken. That's a great move. And by the way, quick shout out. I mean, not that she needs one, but Katie Talbert single-handedly saved the local music
100%.
industry this spring and summer, man. She is the fucking best. She is awesome. I sent her a message during the beginning and wasn't doing the whole "Hey, I'd love to get on the show." I just legitimately told her thank you for doing this for people that need this.
Yeah.
This is I watched one of yours. Definitely watched Nate's. I watched Leon's. I watched a lot of people that I wouldn't have known about until I just would tune in every once in a while whenever I'm not at a gig or not doing anything. I always listen, and she's the best, man. She's a sweetheart. She really just figured it all out for herself and gave so many people opportunities that were itching to just get back and play, man. It was so great.
Yeah, and not to mention, I think we made this point before, but literally during this whole quarantine, we were able to make connections with people that we because normally, honestly, me as a musician, before this whole quarantine thing was happening, I was very busy. So it was hard for me to be "Oh, hey, I'll come out to one of your shows." Cause I'm playing almost all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm it's hard.
Yeah.
But I was able to make connections with people during quarantine that I wouldn't have made. For example, Ken.
Yeah.
Me and Ken kind of knew about each other, but didn't weren't able to connect. And literally out of quarantine, while in quarantine, we sat in the studio, we wrote some music together.
That's awesome.
We just shot the shit and just made a really good friendship. And
I
wouldn't have had that had it not been for Katie's platform.
Yeah.
And I guess we can say for quarantine too, but quarantine sucked anyway.
Yeah,
so.
It was horrible. Yeah, there were. It's an interesting kind of dichotomy of we were stripped from some opportunities, obviously, but at the same time, I made decisions of who I want to remain working for based on how they were handling everything. So you can kind of got a vibe of okay, who's gonna be a dick about this? Who's gonna book other people for a cheaper price and undercut the people that have been bringing in people in your bar for years?
Yep.
Who's gonna break all the rules? Who's gonna just start hiding and not booking anybody. And then the one thing that drove me nuts during the whole quarantine is like losing a gig to a weekender and like a guy that already has a day job.
Yeah.
That thing, it pisses me off so much. I'm like, dude, you got dental and health benefits. You got a steady paycheck. Like, can we stop taking jobs? They took our jobs, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate it. Whenever I saw that, I'd be like, really, man? Like, I was like, I've been bothering you for months, and you give it to this fucking guy. Like, not that I have any problem. Like, I'm sure they're talented, but it's like, you know, help the people out that have been helping you out for years. It's fucking bullshit sometimes, man. Like, it's tough because you have to, like, I couldn't be as stubborn, because I'm a stubborn piece of shit, man. That's one thing that you'll learn about me probably in the next 15 minutes. But I have a stubborn loyalty about me to where, like, if you fuck me over one time, that's it, man.
Oh yeah,
it's done. I'm not listening to it. I'm not listening to an apology. I won't, because you feel like you have to say something about that. Like, I'm not dealing with that shit. I was like, if you don't want me there, that's fine. Just say it. I don't care. Like, just be like, sorry, man, we're booked up. Done. Don't do the whole thing where it's like, well, you know, we could have you in, but we're not making any money right now, so I wouldn't be able to pay you full price. Like, okay, well then I'll tell all my friends that I bring there that they pay half price for a beer. That's what you're telling me. That you're okay paying me half a service, but we have to pay full price for all your stuff. It's the same thing. We're both providing a service. So I never understood that. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah. I think the most annoying part to me about, and I don't even know if annoying is the word, but the countless venues that reached out to me and said, hey, you know, obviously, you know, we're all in rough times right now, and you know, we can't pay you full price, but you know, we can have you come in and play for tips. And that right there,
let me stop you there. Yeah.
Like that was literally, honestly, probably the worst thing I had to experience, because like they were in you know, I get it. Like, honestly, at the end of the day, like, I get it. The businesses struggled as much as we did.
Of course,
I get it, 100%. But what I would have liked was them be like, hey, listen, like, we're not going to have music right now because we can't pay you. But, like, we don't want to, like, you know, put you in a position where, you know, if you're playing just for tips, like, you know, it make it seem like, you know, we're not willing to pay you because, like, we just don't have the money to pay you.
And what do you make in tips a night? You know, like it's not a fixed figure. So you could be potentially walking into a crowd that doesn't want to hear you, and you make, like, you know, $15-$20 in tips, and then you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, I
mean, there's nights I've made literally zero. No joke. Like, and you know, it's just not. I mean, granted, yes, it gets you out of the house. Okay, cool. Yeah. But like, I would rather. In that scenario, I'd rather just literally turn my computer on and just stream
or just practice.
Yeah,
get better, like learn something or write. You know, like that was what I was doing, man. I was like, I don't really want to do this. I'd rather just figure out how to, you know, tie this song together, or write another one about what's going on. But I just have such a problem with that, man. It was so telling in the beginning of like who I'm gonna have a long-lasting relationship with, and like who is never gonna see me play there again, or maybe ever, like, you know, but granted, you know, one of the way I'm talking about it makes it seem like it's like 100 places. It's really only a handful of spots where I'm like, I'll never do business with these people again, like ever. And it's a shame that it happens like that sometimes, you know, because like musicians, our profits and our revenue is essentially based off of like good relationships that you have with people, and like long lasting friendships and things like that, and like the you know, the comfort of knowing that you can come to somebody and be like, hey, you know, I know that you're probably booked, but like, hey, can you squeeze me in this Saturday or whatever? Like, it's having those relationships and having the people that are like going to actually respond to you in a timely manner is so important, especially during a time like this where we're all just struggling, man. I mean, God, it was brutal, but we made it through it. We're both alive, COVID survivors.
Yep.
Immunity. Cheers for that. Yeah. Well, yep. I only have my waters here. We're not drinking yet. I will at some point today, I'm sure, but. All right, let me ask you this before we go into the album. I like to ask a couple random questions just to show some of the people that listen, kind of the ins and outs of music, but outside of the music stuff. So, what's your go-to like drink when you're playing? Do you drink when you play? Do you drink at all?
It's very rare that I do, because I've actually there have been gigs where I kind of just been not reckless, but like kind of just didn't care if people were like buying me drinks. It's like literally every show that you play, there's a chance that someone's gonna try to buy you a drink. It's just it's just bound to happen.
Yeah.
And there was one night where literally I like was bought so many shots and so many drinks that like literally got to the point where I don't even remember playing the last set of that show.
Oh yeah.
And it was just like I was just like, and my buddy was there, and I was like, "Did it sound bad?" He goes, "No." He goes, "It sounded great." He's like, and I was like, "I don't remember any of it."
Yeah.
But nowadays, like if somebody's trying to buy me a drink, like honestly, like I try to go simple, just do like a Malibu Sprite, and I know it sounds like a girly drink, but like honestly, like it makes like them happy that they're buying me a drink, but like
it's not gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, it's not gonna kick my ass. Like it's something light, like whatever. Like it is what it is, you know.
The Malibu Sprite. Yeah, I mean that's a practical drink if you're going for like long term and you're trying to stay on top of your shit, because you got to be on it with the loops too.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're a little sloppy with like if you're drinking bourbon up there like I do, I mean I would be all over the place.
Listen, there was one time where somebody bought me a Jameson shot, which I mean,
I don't like that.
Which I mean, granted, like I thought wouldn't be that bad, and then I drank it, and then like literally like that last set, my my throat just started to get like really scratchy, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
I drank like 2 bottles of water just that last set alone, just to try to survive.
My voice typically sounds like this on a daily basis, and alcohol doesn't help at all. So like I'm always in that low register, and like until I wake up and I've been talking for like an hour to loosen up, I can't do anything. So any form of shot, I mean it depends on the night, honestly. Like if I take a shot, I can tell from that moment I was like if this is gonna help or hurt. Right away. I'm like, because sometimes like I have acid reflux real bad, so like I shouldn't be eating or drinking anything while I play, really.
Yeah.
But I do, because I get hungry mid set and like just snack on some stuff, or I want to drink a beer and relax. But I typically try not to drink when I play. It's more recently just because I know that I just know that I'm better and I'm sharper when I don't. But I'm not gonna be like, no, I'm okay. You know what I mean? Unless I'm like really trying to cut out like alcohol. Like last 2 weeks, I was like, thank you, I appreciate it. I'm not drinking right now. Like I wanted to wait till the Super Bowl. Did I make it that far? No, but we tried. We made a valiant effort. It was tough, but yeah. What's your White Claw policy? What's your are you into those?
No.
You don't like them? Because I love them, and I really wish they were around earlier, especially for singing.
So what's interesting about those to me is like, I honestly would drink them if I'm just like really thirsty and there's like nothing else. Like I can tolerate them, like it's cool. But like I'm not someone that like if I open the fridge and I want to drink, like I'm not just gonna be like, here, let me take a White Claw. However, my girlfriend on the other hand is the complete opposite, because like literally like all she drinks is White Claws.
Yeah.
It's either that or vodka soda with a lime. That's the only 2 things that she'll drink. If you put tequila anywhere near her,
oh man,
she like
Game
literally
over.
like it's like she's gagging even before
she's like me.
Yeah.
I take a significant amount of time off. I got to take a month off with tequila if I do it. Like if I do it and I blow it up, like I hadn't had a shot of tequila since, this might be a lie, I don't know, but not that I remember any. I hadn't had a shot of tequila so Super Bowl was the last time I did it, and then before that it was a Christmas party.
Yep. The
week before, or almost 2 months before. So I gotta have time in between when I do it, because I can't do it. Like I had really bad experiences in college on tequila, and anytime I pop it, I'm like, nope, get out. Yeah, I'm like, I can't do it. So yeah, it's interesting. Okay, so what is your do you have like a late night go-to snack on the way home? Like do you stop and get food? Because I fuck some shit up sometimes,
So it's funny because my girlfriend like literally gives me shit all the time.
Oh yeah.
For this, no joke. If I'm playing like a really late night gig till like 11 or 12, and I'm just still hungry and I need to get something, Taco Bell is
My man, let's get it.
Like literally,
Yeah.
there is nothing else. Like I won't even get McDonald's because honestly, like that much salt and shit like that, I cannot do that.
No, it fucks with me. Yeah.
But fucking Taco Bell all day.
Oh, it's the shit.
All day, every day.
That is the shit. All right, what's your go-to order? Or just like a favorite thing on the menu?
Chicken quesadillas all day.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah. Those things slap in like a different way that
Oh,
people.
they really
I
do.
just don't think people understand. Like, granted, like listen, you can go to a Mexican place and get a chicken quesadilla. It's probably gonna be bomb.
Way
because
better,
that's-
yeah.
Way better. But
Right.
you know what? Honestly, like
It's
12
the
in the
time, yeah.
and
Yeah.
like 12 in the morning, that thing slaps.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
it.
That's what my friends always are like, dude, how do you eat that? I'm like, how do you not, dude? What are you talking about?
People-
you think you're better than me because you go out at 3:00 in the morning and you just wake up without any food in your belly the next day?
Yeah.
Fuck that, dude.
Yeah.
I'm throwing down, man. That's my favorite part about drinking is eating after you drink.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's why I can't drink so much because as soon as alcohol hits my lips, I'm like, well, looks like we're getting some food later, you know?
And people are like, "Oh, they took all the potato things off the menu. I hate Taco Bell." And I'm like, "Well,
Yeah.
screw you. You're
Listen,
missing out."
Listen, fuck your potatoes. Get a quesadilla like a man, okay? Yeah, the nacho fries are great, man.
Oh, don't even get me started on those,
Bro,
Oh,
the rolled, my favorite that they only have seasonally is the rolled chicken tacos.
Oh yeah,
The little taquitos that
Yep,
they
yep.
have. Oh my god, it's game over.
Yep.
It's game over. I love those. They took the loaded grillers off the menu, which is such a bummer.
Yep.
God, I'm so glad that I'm not the only person that enjoys that because I talked to 3 people last night. I was like, what's your go-to like fast food thing when you leave? And they're like, oh, McDonald's. I was like, McDonald's?
No.
Why?
No.
I can't do it. I think I associate McDonald's with horrible hangovers or like long nights of drinking, whereas Taco Bell's kind of like,
Yeah.
it's like I don't know.
Like if there's nothing else around and McDonald's is the only thing around,
Yeah.
whatever. Like I'll suck it up. But like I just for some reason, like if I eat McDonald's really late, I wake up in the morning and I just feel like absolute shit.
Oh yeah.
And I just I can't do it.
Dude, it messes with my stomach so bad and my head. I get a headache.
Yep.
The nuggets or anything fried there, like the McChickens or like really anything. Not just fried, but like anything, just it messes with my head so much.
Yeah, and then like, most of the time they're putting like a shit ton of salt on the fries and it's just like
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so what do you think what do you think your like I always try to ask this in a way where it's not too self-deprecating, but do you have a moment where you were on stage and you were just like, that wasn't very good? Like do you have a moment where you go into a gig feeling hot and then afterwards you're like, oh shit, that was not very good? Because a lot of the times people don't know this about the musicians is that like when I finish a gig, I know right away. I'm like, it was a good one or it was a bad one. Has there ever been like a snafu up there? Like have you pulled? Because mine one time was I was mid set and I stepped on my cable and it pulled out into the thing for the whole place, and then my body just immediately shut down. I was like, this is not ending well. There's so many moments like that for me. I'm just curious to hear other people.
So I would probably have to say the most like prominent moment I think that sticks out to me. So when I first started playing and like I was a person, and I don't know why I was like this, because hell, if I knew this like 2 years ago, I would never be this person. I was a person that was like, you know what? I can keep the same strings on my guitar and they won't break and I'll be just fine.
Yep.
So like nowadays, obviously, I literally keep like 2 packs of strings on me all the time because I have to, because like I literally break strings like every other day, and I'm just like,
Me too.
So when I first started playing, there was a night that I played on the beach, and I think it was not even 30 minutes into the first set.
In 3 hour set?
Yeah, in a 3-hour set.
Oh, boy.
String breaks.
Oh no! Did you have any backups?
No.
Oh no!
No, like I said, this was literally when I first started playing and had no backups.
Yeah.
I was not that experienced, so I didn't know that like, hey, you should probably carry backups of everything. And so awkward moment. I had to literally end the show because I couldn't play anymore.
Oh boy!
And they didn't pay me, and I never played there again.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Do you want to say the name of the place? We can bleep it out. We can bleep it. Don't worry.
Yeah. It was CK's.
Oh.
But my brother wasn't the manager at that time. It was like later on.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna take a wild guess. Was it a G?
Yes.
Nailed it. It's always that fucking G, man.
Fucking G string, man.
It's always been that way for me. The G's and the D's, 3 and 4 strings, always snap. I always do it.
Well, actually, for me, it's either the G string or the fucking the high E string.
High E? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, I've gotten snapped by a high E one time, and my hand's like, fuck, man.
Yeah,
it's like fishing line. It's like damn it.
What's weird, I think, about it is, like, because of the fact that, like, especially nowadays, that, like, I do a lot of the looping stuff, and, like, I'm using, like, my actual, like, sound hole as, like, you know, as the kind of the bass, like the drum and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, there'll be times, and the first time it happened, it scared the absolute piss out of me. I went to go hit the sound hole where the strings were.
Yeah.
And like my E just went, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was
pops.
like, I didn't know that could happen. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to see footage of me like flinching like when I realize a string pops, because like I'm easily spooked, as most of you probably already know. Jasmine fucks with me in this house all the time. All the time. If she's out of my eyesight, every time I'm like, Jasmine, hello? And then she's like, what? I'm not going to scare her. I was like, I'm waiting for the time when I don't do this. You're going to scare the piss out of me. She's done it, and she has it all on tape. She's going to compile like a big thing of us living in this house together. She scared the fucking shit out of me so many times in here. So I can only imagine, like, if somebody was videotaping while a string popped, I'd be like, oh my God. I'd turn into a bitch real quick.
Yeah, it's
real
like,
quick.
It's the opposite with me and my girlfriend, because like literally like she'll be doing something in the bathroom, and I'm not even like I don't have the intention of scaring her.
Yeah.
Like I'm literally just walking into the room.
All you just do is hi,
and I'm
Jesus.
just like I'm just like I just stand there and I'm like hi. She's like, oh my God. She's like, why? She's like, why are you scaring me? I'm like, I'm not trying to.
I'm not trying. Yeah, it's so aggressive. Yeah, I do that all the time with her. Like I was like, damn it, I wish I knew. I was like, I could get a quick scare in if I knew that you were so jumpy today, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so last question. Do you have an Instagram page that you love that you watch people getting hurt on? What's your like a fail page? Like my favorite's kids getting hurt. Do you have anything on like your social media that you love to watch people smash their heads? It's pretty fun.
Particularly no.
No? I'll send you some stuff.
Yeah, you probably got to send me. I get a kick out of that shit.
I love watching people hurt themselves. Now, skateboarding is a different thing because it's kind of like a badge of honor if you are falling, and like, you know, because it's a persistent sport. I've never been good at it, but I know that those guys like hang their hats on the fact that like, oh, it's cracked like 8 ribs, you know, whatever. So I'm talking about like drunk boat to boat jumps or
Jesus
like
Christ, yeah.
you know, rope swing accidents and people trying to run through their walls in college and things like that, like table jumps, you know, the big Buffalo Bills celebration. Love those.
Oh, I've seen a bunch of those. That's just
it's the best. It's the
best.
best.
And like the funny thing is like they'll like jump off pickup trucks into a table and then they'll just get up like, hey, nothing happened.
Yeah, it's
and
done.
Then I wonder how they feel the next day.
Like, dude, you were on fire a second ago. What happened?
Sir, you just literally broke an entire table.
Yeah,
how are
like,
you not like injured in some way, shape, or form?
They just cracked the table. All right, you ready to go into the game? All right, here we go. Like, what? No, dude. You need to go to the hospital.
Quick funny story. There was one, so way back, it was like probably like 3 or 4 years ago, a buddy of mine that lives in Vegas came to Florida we went to WrestleMania together. It was the first WrestleMania that I ever went to.
Oh my God.
And so it was in Orlando, but, back then the girl I was dating at the time, we used to go to this country bar called the Roundup.
Oh my God, the fucking Roundup. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Throwing it back, dude. I love the Roundup.
So I brought this dude here because he was like, hey, like I want to see like the country bars
from Vegas.
Like, yeah. And I'm like,
is he a country guy by nature?
No, not even.
So
not
he got thrown into the fire real quick.
Oh yeah. So this dude, no joke, like got like super drunk. And like for some reason decided like during like because they had like a hip hop hour at like
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so this dude was like fucking vibing, and then all of a sudden I looked away for 2 seconds. I turn around and this dude like tries to do a backflip and just like literally snapped his leg.
Oh,
like not literally, but like he like literally just like landed so weird on his leg. And I'm like, dude, are you good? And he's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm all right. Yeah. And then like he was fine that night. We drove back to Orlando to the hotel.
Oh, boy.
The next morning we wake up, and this dude comes out of the bathroom, and this dude is like limping everywhere. And he's like, you may have to carry me. I'm like, fuck no, I'm not carrying you. Like, you did this to yourself.
Flap them wings and fly your ass back to Vegas, man. I ain't carrying you nowhere.
Oh, my God.
That's so funny. Yeah, dude, the Roundup used to take me for a ride. I don't know if y'all know this, but they used to have a $12 or $10. Was it $10? Was it 12 or 10?
I think it was 12. The
Think
Sink
it
or
was-
Swim?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Holy shit, dude. They would give you 2 drinks and be like, here, take these 2. You could get any draft beer until you fell over.
Yep.
From $12 at the door until they close, done.
Yep.
I mean, dude, the fact that I used to drink like that is insane.
Oh, trust me, I used to as
insane.
well. Yeah, trust me, I know.
It's so crazy. I mean, the amount of shit that's gone on in that. So it was like an old Publix, right?
Yeah.
The bar.
I think it was,
when
yeah.
they moved it to the bigger location. So it's huge. There's so many people in this bar.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's
many
insane.
people. So many people taking advantage of the Sink or Swim, and they had some pretty good shows there too. I mean, they had like big acts. Like it's like the Bull.
I also played.
know?
I also played there.
You did?
Yeah, I played there a couple times.
Oof.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a band that I don't want to speak of.
We
Well, actually, it wasn't even the band that I want to speak of. I don't want to speak of like the shit I had to deal with the owner, not paying the band.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, good. One of
yeah.
those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're closed now. So.
Oh yeah. That's
So
fine. Yeah.
you get what you get, man. Oops. Yeah, I remember they did when they were closing. They did a whole flat rate for an open bar because they were just trying to get rid of all the booze
Yep.
because they didn't want to move it.
Yep.
So
I did not go to that shit show.
What was it, like $50?
I think it was something like it was like $40 or $50. I
Yeah,
think.
you buy it and you can just drink whatever you want.
Yeah, you could just drink whatever you
Like,
wanted.
Fuck, dude, that's wild. And then the stockyard opened, and then they ran them out of town.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, it was because all the kids from Pasco they want to go somewhere closer, and they don't want to have to drive all the way to Tampa.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy, man. I love Roundup. What a throwback.
Oh, yeah.
What a throwback. All right, so the album that we picked today is I'm very excited that you did this one. You picked this one because this is probably my favorite piece of music that came out in 2020 for sure. Other than like some other favorite original music because I know Wesley Schultz from the Lumineers he did an album that was all covers, which I really loved. And if I'm forgetting something, I'm sorry. But I'm going to take a short break, make sure everything's rolling, make sure we're all good. Because I don't have my producer here today. So we're going to get into Chris Stapleton's Starting Over. That was his 2020 album. When did that come out? Was it October? November?
I want to say it was October.
Okay, yeah. It was, I
I'm
remember it
pretty
being
sure.
fall.
Yeah.
I remember it being fall. Okay, so we're going to get into that. We'll be right back in just a second. All right, we're back. I had to take Dixie out for a tinkle. And I didn't get another water, but that's okay. Well, I only need one. All right, so Chris Stapleton's Starting Over. Most of you guys probably know the single Starting Over, one that's on the radio. Is there any other songs on the radio right now? Have you heard any?
Not that I know of.
Okay. This to me, I'm kind of skipping out of order here. This to me, for sure, is my favorite album of his, I think. And I don't know if I've heard him like really cut loose like this, or anybody for that matter, and kind of touch all the bases. Like he's got a lot of different styles of music on this from top to bottom. I mean, every song there's no wasted motion. Everything's got its intent. And he just him and Dave Cobb that work together. I mean, it's insane. Dave Cobb did Southeastern, but with Jason Isbell too, which we just recorded an episode with Nate Allen with that. That'll be out before this, I think. So did you hear it like when it first came out?
Yeah.
Okay. So like because I saw it hit Spotify on whenever it was. I was like, okay. So I laid down right there underneath the soundbar and I just turned it on. I was like, this is the shit. I was like, this is so good. So did you listen to it top to bottom for the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. What's your favorite song off here?
Well, I'll say this. My favorite song to play off the album at a show is Starting Over.
Yeah.
All day, and it seems like it's a popular song, like that people like me to play.
Yeah.
However, I will say that it would be that, but it would also maybe be Whiskey Sunrise.
I love Whiskey Sunrise.
Only because like it is so like Whiskey Sunrise is so different from like what he's like put out. And it's so like a lot more like rock and roll.
It's bluesy.
Yeah,
very bluesy, very the drop D feel to it, very open. Yeah, it hits hard, man.
It's just crazy to like think like every song that you listen to on this album is like different than the other.
Yeah.
And like there's so many influences and stuff like that, and it's it's crazy because I was like, I read an article the other week where they were kind of like talking. He was kind of talking about like, the songs and like what influences each song and stuff like that. Like he was getting influence from the Allman Brothers, I believe.
Yeah, I can hear that.
With some of that. Kurt Cobain.
Really?
Yeah.
On
Hank
what?
Kurt
Cobain. I love Kurt. We love Kurt in this house. Got a lot of Nirvana stuff around here.
Let's see. It's saying on the Way and Whiskey Sunrise.
Okay.
Kind of combination. And then like Hillbilly Blood. Was inspired by Hank Williams.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's like crazy to think like they're not, and all these people are not even necessarily country necessarily. You know what I'm saying? Like this album is not country.
No.
It's not. And like that's, I think, the one thing I really love about Chris Stapleton compared to like other people. With this album, he didn't stick himself in one lane.
Nope.
Like he literally went all over the board with this and like was just crazy good with it.
He just plays with so much soul and so much passion, and like every time he hits those high notes and you hear that growl, man, it's just like, oh my God, there's so much pain in that, so much energy and love for music, like into that, like just, oh man, it's great. I remember listening to, I have this as one of my notes for like just a quick little tidbit story on him. I didn't know who he was until I watched the CMAs.
Yeah.
When he was I think this was the same year. He was the first artist to win Album of the Year, Male Vocalist of the Year, and New Artist of the Year at the CMAs all in the same year.
Yep.
So I was like, fuck, dude. And all these guys that are getting the other awards are people that he's written for in the past. So, I mean, he's written for so many people. And I remember when they, how like they do at the award shows back when we had them with people in there, when they would play a little snippet of the album and like Chris Stapleton, Traveler, and I heard the hook to Traveler and I was like, I'm in.
Yeah.
It took me like 10 seconds. I was like, this guy's fucking awesome. That's the first physical piece of music that I bought and downloaded digitally in easily a decade.
Yep.
Because I just didn't buy anything like that. Like I do now with vinyl and stuff like that, as I just started my collection. But back then, physical music didn't mean shit to me. I was like, I'll just download it.
Yeah, it's just like you have Spotify Premium, like you literally can just listen to it.
But I saw that CD out there. I was like, I'm getting this because this is an album that is gonna stand out for a long time. And what's funny is when he played with Timberlake, their sales for that record went nuts that night. That night, dude, when they did Drink You Away in Tennessee Whiskey. Yep. Holy shit.
Yep.
That was one of my favorite performances on live television I've ever seen. And I remember watching that live going like, who is this guy though?
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was. I didn't know about the Steel Drivers. I didn't know about the Johnson Brothers. I didn't know about him writing anything. I didn't know anything about this guy. And then all of a sudden you do your research. You're like, fuck, this guy's been in Nashville for 10 years.
Yeah. I didn't even know about the Steel Drivers until I played a show the other week. And some guy was like, hey, do you know any Steel Drivers? And I'm like, who the hell is that?
Yeah.
And then like 5 minutes later, he realized I didn't know who it was. And he was like, you know Chris Stapleton? I was like, yeah. And he's like,
band.
that was his band. I'm like, really? I didn't know that.
I love, he's got some really powerful stuff with them. And the Steel Drivers they still do like local festivals around here. Obviously not with him, but they play a lot. So, okay, so you said favorite song was, you said Whiskey Sunrise?
Yeah.
To play, though, it's starting over. Do you play anything else live off of this?
Not currently right now.
Yeah.
I want to definitely start playing some more songs.
Yeah, dude, it's such a great... Nashville, Tennessee is one that I want to figure out because that's the apology letter to... Or not the apology, the goodbye letter to Nashville. And he's like, peace, dude, I'm out of here. You got it.
It's so crazy. Well, it's crazy to think that it started with the song. Like the album starts with starting over and then... It is like ends with a goodbye to Nashville. Like it's like it's so smart in the way he did that, and like the storytelling just in between everything.
It's almost like they had a meeting about that.
Yeah, it's almost like they planned it out that way.
Right. That's what I love when people are like, "Man, it's just the perfect start to this album." I was like, "Yeah, it's almost like they had a meeting thinking about it." But yeah, I love Stapleton. I've always like as soon as I heard his voice, I was like, "This guy is the best." Do you think? Because in my opinion, I think he's the best vocal and guitar playing combination that the country music world has ever seen. Because even though he doesn't do like traditional like the GCD Nashville type songwriting stuff. He's a very talented guitar player and does a lot of different shit. I mean, obviously Cold is the piano ballad that's on here with the strings and the orchestra. He covers a lot of lesser known musician stuff. Like, I mean, Tennessee Whiskey is a cover. There's a Dean Dillon song that, I mean, I think George Jones also did too. Joy of My Life on this is a John Fogerty song, which I just found out today. Didn't know that. And then Whiskey and You was a Tim McGraw song that he redid on Traveler. And then there's another one on Either Way. It was a Leanne Womack song, I believe, which either way, the way that Stapleton does it is just so much better. But he, to me, I feel like in just the Nashville sense, because they claim him still as a country musician, but I just consider him to be a musician. Yeah. Not necessarily like locking him into one categorical box, because like you said, every song in here is different. So it's not necessarily something that you're going to go track by track, like, okay, I kind of get where he's going with this. Like, you go from Starting Over, which is a radio hit, right into like an old, the blues, The Devil Always Made Me Think Twice, the very bluesy feel, and then you go into
piano ballad.
Cold, and it's piano ballad. Yeah, you're like, fuck, yeah. So it's all over the place. So I like, I mean, is there anybody else in your mind that you think could touch him vocally? I mean, like, I just feel like he's got the best voice that country's ever seen. To be honest,
actually, I do.
Okay, hit me.
So I've been a huge fan of this guy because I've actually seen him in concert. It's absolutely insane what he can do. Luke Combs. Actually.
Oh yeah.
And I say that because he, like, I don't know if you've ever seen him do Tennessee Whiskey, but like it's literally almost about just as good. Like, it's insane because like Luke Combs, like, to me, like, and he does a lot of covers of like different songs too.
Yeah.
But like, it seems like every song that he touches, even if it's not his own, like, it just sounds insane. Like, he makes other people's songs sound like incredible.
He's got a very unique touch to the game, and I hope he can keep up what he does, because I actually do like some of his stuff. I feel like he's got very good control over his voice and his writing and things like that. I just really hope that he doesn't buy into the Nashville machine with those snap tracks and things like that.
He will never. Did you hear that he's doing a bluegrass album?
I did.
Yeah.
With, who is he doing it with?
He just came out with a song with them, and I can't remember.
Son of a bitch.
I'm gonna look this up real quick.
Let's Google it. All right, so we don't have a Jamie here from the Rogan Show, so we got to do it ourselves. So Luke Combs,
Billy Strings.
Yes,
Billy Strings.
Dude, Billy's nasty too, man. That guy. Whew. I was gonna say it's one of those guys that's in there, but yeah, I'm excited about that. I like the bluegrass feel to stuff. I love, like, Sturgill's bluegrass was great. Tyler Childers obviously has some bluegrass backgrounds with some of the stuff that he does, and Billy Strings is a phenomenal talent. I mean, I love old bluegrass too. I don't I'm blanking on specifics of it now, but I mean, anytime it's on, I'm not gonna be like, what the fuck is this? Like, I really do enjoy, like, the old style of music, because a lot of music did come from bluegrass in that part of the world. Yeah. So a lot of the guys that you listen to, like, on the country radio now, are bluegrass fans. Yeah. All of them. So I think it's an interesting swing into what we see in country music now, but I've always appreciated the bluegrass art and the strings and the heavy picking and, like, the real just down to earth kind of basic instrumentation, the one take production value of it and everything like that. So Luke Combs, though, I saw him do a version of Fast Car. That was incredible. Oh my God. Fast Car is one of my favorite songs I think ever written. I fucking love Tracy Chapman. She has a way of breaking your heart with just such a simple song, and you hear these stories and you're like, oh my God. I love Fast Car. I love Fast Car so much.
And I think nowadays, the whole Nashville scene and just the whole country scene in general has just gotten so saturated. I think especially with the country pop and that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think, a lot of the guys that are succeeding now are, trying to think outside of the box.
Yes.
Like, you would never in your right mind think that Luke Combs would do a bluegrass album.
No.
But he's doing it.
Somebody told him, if you want to stay in on the good side with these people, you need to do something real grassrootsy.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'm excited for that. I think I saw that on like maybe Facebook or something like that on one of the pages I followed last night.
He released a single off the album, but they never actually got a chance to finish. Last time I heard, they didn't get a chance to finish the album because of COVID and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think he wants to finish the album, and I'm so here and ready for it when it does come out because I want to hear it.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. That's gonna be great.
Oh yeah.
So diving back into starting over, what is your favorite lyric or story? It doesn't have to be like one specific line. Maybe it's like a I don't know, a full story, like a full song. Do you have one off the top of your head that resonated with you, that hit you in a way?
I mean, I'm gonna go back to starting over because I think the whole concept of starting over, like, you know, you've been through, you know, so many things in life, but
Mm-hmm.
like there's always a point when, you know, you can literally just be like, I want to start over.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and like with me, you know, I've been in so many toxic relationships in my life, and you know,
Yeah.
the girl I'm with now, who, you know, obviously one day I'm 100% going to marry. It's like,
Oh man,
yeah,
dropping
yeah.
it on the scratch track.
She already knows.
Okay, good. Yeah. We talked about it.
It's
too,
not a surprise. It's fine.
Yeah.
But you know, it's kind of one of those things. It's like when I first met her, like I wasn't looking for a relationship. I had just gotten out of another toxic relationship, and I wasn't looking for that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of one of those things where, you know, it kind of it makes you start over. It makes you look at things different. Like, oh, okay, this exists. You know?
Dude, it's so funny how like actual love can kind of take you by surprise when you've been in a situation where you're like, fuck this person.
Oh
like,
my God.
You go into, I mean, I came out of one before I met Jasmine. I took a year off. I was like, listen, I'm not getting involved in shit for a year. I was like, I'm going batshit insane. I was like, I'm treating people the way she treated me, which is a very unhealthy way to deal with your life. But it was.
I don't think that's the way you should do it.
No, it is not. But a whiskey-fueled year indeed, and it was a challenging year. I mean, some of the stuff that I'm putting on this record that we're recording right now is I wrote in that year of being just absolutely fucked, like mentally. And I remember meeting her, like you said, like everything, your perception of the world completely changes.
Yeah.
Like I went from like fuck these people to like I would die for this person.
Yeah.
In maybe 6 to 8 months. Before that, I would have had to think about it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, it's just insane, like because you put love in this box that you've only seen, and then once you see something outside of it, you're like, wait, but that's not how I used to do it.
Yeah,
like, what, you know, it's
like it's
surprising, man.
You gain that perception of, okay, well, apparently this is what love is like.
Yeah,
and this is just what I'm gonna deal with for the rest of my life. And then all of a sudden you meet that someone, and you're like, wait a second, this is, you know what I'm saying? Like you almost have to like pinch yourself because you're like, wait a second,
what am I doing?
This exists?
Yeah,
what?
Right.
Like this is real?
Yeah, like this exists, and oh, this is what it's supposed to feel like.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And you go back in your head, you're like, oh, that wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
It was just yeah, and you see it too. Like when I was 24. What was I doing at 24? Yeah, I was in that shitty relationship at 24. Not the whole thing wasn't shitty. You know, I shouldn't say that, but 90% of it was. So it was, you know, constant sensitivities, buttons being pushed on both sides, and like, look, I was no angel either. I'm not a great person through and through. I try to be better now, but it is like when you find somebody that you see the world through different eyes because of that. I was like, okay, oh, I get it now. I was like, this is why I don't hang out with my friends. Like my friends are like, why don't we ever see you that much anymore? I was like, well, because you hang out with people that don't make me feel good.
Yeah.
And Jasmine makes me feel good. Mm-hmm. You know. So it's like it's as simple as that. If you narrow it down to the simplistics of like do what makes you feel good and be around people that make you feel good about yourself, then everything else is easy. Yeah. You know, like music is one of those things for me. Like I play it because I love it. I don't do it because I'm like, you know, because I have to, because I wake up and go to work. I'm like, here we go, another day. You know, like I do it because I fucking love it. And like I'm you know, in a situation where I had to start over because I love this person, you know. So I get it. It's a whole whole thing.
And there's obviously the saying that you always hear, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. You know?
Hell yeah, man.
So that's what music is, I think, to me and also to you. You know? It's like it doesn't feel like a job. It just feels like literally something we just love to do every day.
And I tell people that I'm going to work because I just don't want to tell people that I'm a musician.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm going to work, and they'll be like, "What do you do for work?"
Yeah,
don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, because then it's like, "Oh, sing me a song," or like, "What do you do?" Yeah, no. Yeah, so when I meant to ask you this when we were in the last segment, but we're going all over the place. We're getting deep. Do you, when you travel, like I do this when I fly, or like I'm out or I meet people that I don't know, do you tell people you're a musician?
Not off the bat.
I don't either.
No.
I don't either.
If it's not something that should come up in the conversation or doesn't need to come up in the conversation, I just don't.
Correct. And you know the people that do say it all the time, those people are assholes. They're like, "Oh, I'm a musician." No, you're not. The people that volunteer that information, no, they don't. They're not aware. I used to do it when I was a kid, going to bars. I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm a musician." I was like, I played one open mic a week, and I would say that, like, "You piece of shit. Who the fuck do you think you are?" Yeah, dude, I was an asshole. So anyway, I usually tell people that, like, I have a really boring, monotonous job, so they don't ask any questions. Or I go back to something that I've done before, so I at least have like a little background knowledge of it in case they do ask questions.
Yep.
Like, oh, I work in a warehouse, or like, I work, I'm in sales or something like that, or like I'm a student or something like that, or like I just do anything to avoid the question of like, "Oh, what kind of stuff do you sing? Can you sing right now?" I was like, it takes a little bit for me to unpack it. I'm like, well, okay, so the stuff that's on the radio? They're like, yeah, not that. Like I have to go and like go weave around this whole thing. Like my neighbors too, when I leave the house, I've talked about this on the podcast before. When I leave my house, I run to the car with the guitar. I'm like, I don't want anybody talking to me.
Yeah, I feel like every time I leave my apartment, like with my guitar on my back to go to a show, like anybody that's outside, like, kind of gives me a look, and I'm just like, please do not come over here and question me.
Don't approach me.
Because I do not want to talk to you about this. I have to go to work.
Yeah, I got to go to work. What do you do for work? Don't worry about it. God. Yeah, I have guys that, they'll go like, "Oh, what's in the case, man?" I was like, "It's drugs." It's drugs and cash. I'm going to make a delivery.
Oh.
I always ask musicians that because I know that even though we're not like guys with record deals that people would recognize, like I don't tell people off the bat like, "Oh, I'm a musician" or whatever, even though that's the only thing I do for work. I won't tell them that because I just don't want to start that conversation of like, what is happening? Yeah. So
yeah, because you'll get those people that'll be like, they'll ask you and you'll be like, "Oh, well, you just say it," and then they're like, "How do you survive on just being a musician?
Right.
Like, you should have a real job." And oh my Lord, and then that conversation just gets awkward real quick.
And then there's a guy in the back of my head going, "Tell this lady to go fuck herself. Tell her." And then the other side's like, no, just be nice and get out of the conversation. Like, there's certain things that set me off, like in conversation, not while I'm playing, outside of it. Mm-hmm. Here's the one thing that really gets me. Whenever you tell people you're a musician and they go, "Oh yeah, I played too." No. Listen. This is what I do for hours at a time, okay? Mm-hmm. I play full songs all the way through. I'm not playing on my couch. Like, don't. Yeah. And all the old guys that are like, "Oh yeah, I have a Martin. I like the way." Like, okay, great, but like, don't.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, dude.
Do you want a cookie?
Yeah. I always try to avoid that with the layman because because they just don't understand what we do. They don't know what it is that we do. And listen, it's the same thing with me. Like, if I ask you and you don't like questions about being a lawyer or a doctor, like, do the same thing with that. Like, I'm not gonna be that guy that tries to dig into your like career and go like, "Oh, so what do you do?" Like, or like when somebody tells you, my buddy tells me about this all the time. I was like, it's obviously way different, but my buddy Dylan, he's a St. Pete police officer. Mm-hmm. We might have to bleep that out. I don't know what project he's working on now. We might have to keep his name out of this, but he's undercover. He does surveillance for St. Pete Police. I didn't give his last name, so anybody that doesn't know, if he's watching you, you're fucked. This guy's very good at his job. So he's a cop. So one of the first things that ignorant people will say when they find out that they're a cop is, "Have you shot anybody?" They're like things like that. It's like, dude, why? Why is that the first thing you go to? So that's like that to me. The have you shot somebody is, oh, can you sing us a song? You know, or like that. I hate that. It's like when comedians are like, oh, I'm a comedian. Oh, tell us a joke. Like, no, dude, it doesn't work like that.
I get that all the time, and then like I'll just be like, no, and then it'll just be like, why? I'm like, because I don't feel the need to.
Or they're persistent, like, come on. Or like the other thing that pisses me off is like, so you obviously know people that are like that don't come out to see you, and then you see them at bars and be like, oh, sing me a song, like that know what you do, and then they start doing this whole thing. I'm like, can we like stop? I was like, I don't
stop talking about this out loud.
Like I hate that. I was like, listen,
like I don't mind like if people at shows like want to know like more about what I do. Like
No,
if they're out to come see me, like whatever, like cool, like I'll like if I'm on break, I'll come talk to you. But
100%,
like
yeah.
But like just random people, I just no.
No, out of context of the situation, it gets a little dicey because then you're just sitting there like, and then I could talk about that for days. I've run into plenty of people that like right off the bat they want to tell you how much money they make playing, and also I'm like, dude, that's something that we don't talk about. You know, you don't talk about that. You just don't.
It's like anything else. Like you know, it's
right.
it's always an uncomfortable question. Like it's an awkward question. Like why would you ask someone how much they make doing what they do?
Right.
Like,
oh, you're a teacher? What do you make? Like what? No, dude. Stop.
Oh, you're a musician? How much do you make for a show?
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, it's okay, man. It's between me and the bar, and that's none of your fucking business.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole thing, man. There's so many ignorant encounters that I've had where I'm like, did you listen to what you just said? Did you hear it?
Comprehend what you just said?
Did you hear it like I heard it? Because if you did, you should be reacting in a different way. Mm-hmm. Where like people are like, can I come up and use your microphone for an announcement? No.
Oh my God.
No. Go to a bar with a DJ and ask him for another mic. And also, by the way, wear your fucking mask when you come up and you come up and talk to me, and don't try to share the same microphone as me. No, don't do it. Like what?
Like that was like that was always an issue like even before COVID exists, and now it's even like we have more of a reason to be like, get away from me.
Now we have the out, which is great.
Yeah, which is fantastic. Yeah. I'm so glad.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's and then I remember that this was recently. She ended the conversation with like, "You seem angry." I was like, "You're correct in your assessment. I'm very angry. Please go away from me." God, yeah. Okay, getting back into the happy stuff. Okay, so the favorite story is starting over.
Yeah,
and we got deep into love.
Yeah,
during that. Okay, so there's obviously a lot of really good guitar work on this album. Mm-hmm. What do you think your favorite like solo or riff is? Like something that just really like grabbed you like initially, like right off the bat.
I think it would be between Hillbilly Blood and Whiskey Sunrise. Yeah. I like they're both of those have like just this real like grunge to it, and it's like the guitar work on those two is just like I said, it's so different from what he's like we're used to hearing from him, and it's just like what like he can do this? What? It's crazy.
No, he's got a really interesting touch on this album with his solos. I mean, they're very blues driven. I get like a Neil Young vibe where it's like it's like he's playing the same note. You know,
it's
just
almost
feeling.
It's almost like a bluegrass feel to it.
Yeah, I love that. I think that the one that grabs me like right away is Arkansas.
Oh yeah, that too. I didn't even think about that.
The blues in the like the very intro to Arkansas. I was like, whew. It just makes you crinkle your nose. You know, it's like one of those like
ooh yeah.
So that, and I would say Watch You Burn is another one where it has like a nice that little drop D thing. That's the Vegas shooting song.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is like I was listening to it. I was like, what is he talking about? I was like, oh yeah. I was like, this is dark.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, that was a heavy song because I mean, obviously he's attached to that community.
Yeah, 100%.
It was Jason Aldean, right?
Yes,
that was playing.
Yep.
God, how do you play a show after that?
I
saw him. I saw Jason Aldean at Tortuga after that event happened. Obviously, it was well after, but I was like, I just think in my head, I'm like, if anything like that happened to me on a small scale, like I don't think I'm ever playing again.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where he always like might have that on the back of his mind.
Yeah,
like every show he plays, and it's just like that's scary.
Yeah, he's definitely had to go through a lot of that shit because I mean he's got to feel semi-responsible. He's like, these people are coming to see me, you know, like it's always got to be in the back of your head. Not that it's necessarily his fault.
It was never his fault. Yeah,
but it's always something that you're going to think of, especially if you're musicians have those insecurities about themselves constantly that they're like battling with internal struggles, and I can only imagine watching these people get like mowed down while you're on stage. Like they're coming to see you, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
All right, so the favorite deep cut, something on the C or D side, something that's kind of buried a little bit that you don't really think of in the initial listening.
That's a tough one. You know what's Worry Be Gone is an interesting song.
It is.
Because that, like, when I heard that, like, when you hear the whole album, right? Mm-hmm. And then you, like, kind of go back and listen, you start to, like, listen to every song and, like, how it's done. And then you listen to Worry Be Gone, and it almost brings you back to, like a 60s, 70s, like, kind of, like, jazzy a little bit.
So this is a cover, too. I was trying to... It's a Guy Clark song.
Okay.
Guy Clark, Leroy Parnell, and Gary Nicholson were the writers credited on this. So it's funny you say that because I remember listening to it. I was like, it's got a really old bluesy feel to it, and I love it. And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, because he always puts covers on his albums that he does, different versions of, obviously, because that's how he started. Other people were covering his music, so he's doing it the backwards way now. But Guy Clark is he's a fucking fantastic songwriter, dude. Yep. He's one of the best. And another co-writer on this album too that caught me by surprise is Mike Campbell. You know who Mike Campbell is? No. From Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Oh, okay,
the guitar player for them. So he co-wrote on a few of these, Arkansas and Watch You Burn too. Okay. So it's interesting though that they collaborated. Not interesting, because obviously they're both very talented musicians. It's just I would just have never expected somebody like Mike Campbell, he played with, I think he started playing with Fleetwood Mac when they went back and toured, and like a guy like that who's a seasoned musician who doesn't really need to work with
someone like Chris Stapleton,
right?
But he did anyway.
But he did because he understands how good of a fucking songwriter this guy is, and it was just wild to me to see that. And I would say like deep cut on here for me. I love You Should Probably Leave. I love Nashville, Tennessee, but I think my favorite one that's like an old feel to it is probably Worry Be Gone too, because you don't really think of it in the initial sense of that. Like I just love the blues jumpy feel to it, you know. But there's not really I don't dislike any song in this album except for Maggie's song, because that shit made me cry like a baby. I didn't like that at all. I was like, why are you making me feel like
that's
this?
oof.
God, it's heavy. Yeah, it's about his dog.
Because it's like
nope.
You get through side A and side B, and you're like, okay, like this is cool, like this is really different. And then like you get to side C, and then you hear Where Be Gone, you're like, whoa, where did that come from?
Yeah, let me tell you about a story or whatever. Like found her in a shopping cart outside of the store, and I was like, I looked at Jasmine, I was like, he's talking about his dog. I was like, we can't listen to this. And I texted my mom and sister immediately because I was like, listen, Stapleton came out with a new album. He's got a song called Maggie Song. It's about a dog. Don't listen to this if you're going out tonight. Don't.
Oh,
I was like, it wrecked me, dude. It wrecked me so bad. I was like, oh my God. And he said in an interview too, I found it somewhere on one of these pages I was doing my research on. He was saying that he was actually crying during the recording. I was like, yeah,
that's
no shit.
Yeah.
Like
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, it's heavy, man. So all right, is this your favorite album of his?
Easily.
It's mine.
Like that's an easy question.
It's mine too.
Yeah.
Traveler's a close 1A, but this to me in terms of complete body of work, I feel like this is just his best shit because he's been able to grow into an artist that is not necessarily locked in like a country box.
Yes.
There are country songs on here, but it's not a full country album. It's got elements of, like you said, rock and roll. There's blues, there's folk, there's singer-songwriter stuff, and there's obviously country. There's pop, the piano stuff in there. Like there's a ton. There's a ton. There's so much on here. I mean, When I'm With You, I love. He's always got those sweet love songs on his album, which I typically don't like when they beat love songs to death. But like guys like Jack Johnson and Chris Stapleton and people that have been married to the same woman for a long time.
Yeah,
they somehow find a way to still write uniquely about someone that they've been with for such a long time, and I always appreciate that.
Well, yeah, I think when you're with somebody for so long, it kind of gets hard.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a definite challenge to like
To find new things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, for example, Luke Combs has already written 3 songs about his now wife.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sitting here in my mind. I'm like, okay, I don't think you need any more. Can we not do this?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Even though I love them all, but
yeah.
I just like it kind of gets to the point where like, don't beat the dead horse.
Yeah, I like you kind of hear it and you're like, I know where they're going with this, yeah, kind of thing. So I get that. Okay, have you seen him live before? You said you have, right? No, you have not. Okay.
No.
Oh, Luke Combs, you were saying. Yeah.
I have not seen him live. However, I don't know if you saw his CMA performance at the end of last year, starting over.
I believe so. I can't remember if I did or not.
That was like out of the whole show, that was probably the best. He literally sat in front of like just a microphone, and it was just him acoustic, and like literally you would literally hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, there was nobody there,
Right.
But like it was just so the production of it was just so well done, and then like obviously his wife coming in doing harmonies, like it's just they're just magical together. It's insane.
It is so good, man. Like their harmonies are so nice. Oh my god. I mean, that's what you get for working with somebody for so long and having such great chemistry. But it's like every time you hear that, it's like, wow, man. It's
crazy.
It's so beautiful. She's got a great voice too, and I love her take on "You Are My Sunshine." And I've seen them do that. I've seen them live one time, or him live, and this was when Traveler came out. It was at a show called Country Superfest, and it was at Amalie Arena. Now, this is back when Chris Stapleton was opening for people still.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even that big. I was like, what? So this was before Traveler started to really take off and before he was like headlining his own shows. Little Big Town was the headlining act that night.
Wow.
We walked. Yeah, we walked. It was boring, dude. It was just like, come on, man. How long do we got to wait for fucking pontoons so we can get the hell out of here, man? It's so nuts. I'm like, God. So, by the way, he wrote a song for Little Big Town too, and I just found that out. I was like, man, wouldn't it be funny if he played that song right before they came out? But we sat in. It was me, my mom, and my sister, and we sat on the side. It would probably be about where maybe a few rows up from the glass if they had the hockey, whatever, the hockey setup. So to our right was the stage. So we're looking this way. There's a older couple sitting behind us, and when Chris Stapleton got up, we were so fucking hyped, and it was such a great show.
Yeah,
he did a version of, he did Freebird into what is it? It's a deep cut off of Traveler. I'm gonna fuck this up. Maybe Daddy Doesn't Pray Anymore. Not one of those deeper cuts.
Yeah.
So Devil Named Music is what it is, I think.
Okay.
And I remember us, like, we were so pumped for this. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And the couple that was to our left that couldn't see the stage, they were like, they went to security, and then security came to us, and the security goes, do you think you guys could, like, sit down like every other song? We're like, no. No. Move them. We're having a blast. Don't ruin my night, okay? They're like, no, like, why? Who fucking cares? Oh, I can't see that well. Stand up or go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Or ask to be moved. It's not that we weren't the drunk idiots that were like spilling shit over all, like everybody, but it was just so annoying. I was like, dude, come on. You're going to a show. You're going to a huge country concert, like one of the biggest of the year that they do locally for all the radio, the guys that are like have big radio success that year, and like you're gonna go and just sit and pout. I'm like, come on, man. So yeah, I saw him live one time. I didn't get a chance to see him the last time he came here pre-COVID, but I actually got tickets for Christmas to go see him in November. So hopefully by that time,
I would think by that time.
I really hope so, man. So it'll be great because I haven't seen him live since Traveler came out. So there's a lot of stuff on the From a Room, the volume 1 and 2.
Yep.
That'll be on there that I want to see live, and this is going to be
100%.
I can't wait. So, this was recorded in Muscle Shoals too, by the way.
Yep.
Which is awesome. I love that. I love that he etched his name in history there because there's so many great albums that have been played there.
Yep.
Did you see him the first time when he was on the CMAs when that whole thing happened with Justin Timberlake? Did you ever watch that?
Yeah, I did.
So amazing.
Yeah.
So great. God, he was nuts. I did some diving today on people that he's written for. Do you know anybody he's written songs for?
Yes, I do, actually.
I can't believe the list of these people. And you guys will know 90 to 100% of these names. And these are just people that I picked that I think that most people would recognize. So Adele, Luke Bryan, Thomas Rhett, Kenny Chesney, Sheryl Crow, George Strait, Josh Turner, Leanne Womack, Darius Rucker, go figure, Blake Shelton, Little Big Town, Alan Jackson, Charles Kelly, who Lady A, or whatever you want to call him now, Tim McGraw, Brad Paisley, Miranda Lambert, Trace Atkins, Derek Bentley, Brooks and Dunn, Gretchen Wilson, Travis Tritt, Montgomery Gentry, and guy that I saw open for Aaron Lewis one time, Randy Montana.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So many people, so many hits on the radio, so many songs, and he's not that guy that's going to come out and be like, yeah, I wrote that.
Oh, no. He's
Never.
very nonchalant about it.
Very, very. He just knows he's good, and he's gotten better with like kind of like opening up and talking a little bit more to people. But I remember when I saw him for the first time, cowboy hat way down over his eyes. He's hiding like behind the microphone. He doesn't step out. He doesn't do anything. But now he's a little bit more comfortable on stage, obviously. But he's a very to himself kind of guy, and he doesn't really do anything that's like, he's not in there to like, hey, look at me. He's playing music. He loves playing music. Yeah. He's a genuine dude. I love it. Have you do you collect any vinyl at all? Do you do any?
I don't know.
You don't? Yeah, I just started about a year ago, man, and it totally changes the way that I listened, and this specifically too, because this album, when I saw it come out, I was like, I'm doing top to bottom all the way through. I'm doing a deep listen. Like with the albums that we have, a lot of the times, like the albums are structured to be listened to from a top to bottom sense, unless you're doing like a single release and then you're trying to build up some stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
But in terms of like full bodies of work, musicians want you to consume their music from the top to the bottom. They want it to be an experience for you. So that's what I appreciate about this album too, because it starts. It's not an opener that would take you by surprise. It's the most popular song.
Yes.
And then it takes you through this whole winding journey of like the different styles and influences of people that he enjoys listening to, and like people that like old classic songs like the Fogerty song, and obviously the Guy Clark stuff. Guy Clark actually wrote Old Friends too, which I didn't know. I didn't know about that either, because we don't know everything on this podcast. We find out in the middle of the episode most of the time. Yep. But what's interesting about him is that he is a huge star in the country scene, and he writes a very good portion of his stuff, which a lot of these guys don't. A lot of them don't do that anymore because it's just they're so busy on the road. They have other people just do it for them. Yeah. But Stapleton's just like, he's been sitting on songs probably for years, and he's like, okay, I can figure this one out, I think. So he's an amazing songwriter.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
It's so crazy. Oh, man. If you had to put a ideal lineup together to see him, who would your opening act be? Like, what would be like the dream show? Like Stapleton's headlining, you're at Amalie Arena, you're on the floor, front row. Who would you want to see open for him?
I only say this because I want to see them two to like do something together. Mm-hmm. Luke all day.
Yeah.
Luke
Combs, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. It's just because like I know those two are like parallel in a way, like the way they do things. Like Luke Combs also writes all of his own stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you look at like his albums and you look at who the writer's on, he's on every single song.
Did he write for other people too?
Yes.
He did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly who he's written for, but
I want to look that up. I do like his stuff, man. He's one of those guys in country that I love the grit in his voice. I love the feel to his songs, and like, and
he's just such a genuine guy. Like
exactly.
he's all about the people that, he's all about his fans at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like,
and you can kind of tell who the genuine dudes are in country, and they're good. You know they're good songwriters because they don't fit the mold of like the GQ model type guys, like the fucking I don't know, the good looking dudes in the pop country scene right now. Like I'm gonna start naming dudes and be like, are you gay? No. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
the tall, thin guys, plaid button-ups with the boots, the beard, the chiseled jawline, that like that
Sam
stuff.
Hunt.
Yeah,
What?
yeah, there you go. First of all, I got a story about that guy that I'll tell you off mic because it's not a true story. I don't think 100%. It could be one of those like where he got dragged through the mud, but it's an interesting story. For those of you that know the Sam Hunt story I'm referencing, it's a good one. So if you see me out, I'll tell it to you, but I don't want to do it on here because it would make me look bad. Because it's not 100% true. It's just a rumor, but it is funny if it is true. So, like that, like the Sam Hunts, like the Kane Browns, like the even though I think he looks like a frog, but it's all right. But like Stapleton doesn't fit the mold of like being like a hunk, like a southern, like a woman's southern man dream, like he's an older guy with a big raggedy beard and long hair, I mean, it's like Luke Combs too. He's a fishing shirt and cargo pants guy.
He literally basically wears the same outfit every show. And he does not give a shit.
And you stick to that, man. Yeah. That's your identity. You just got to do it that way, All right. This was a lot of fun. And I didn't warn you about this, and I feel kind of bad. So if you can't think of anything off the top of your head, that's okay. So the thing that we do here, the name of the podcast is called The Scratch Track, and the scratch track, when you're in the studio, is just kind of like a baseline for what you want. It's not a final take. It's something that you're going to be able to do again. So do you have one in your life that you were like, man, I wish I did this differently. I wish I could do this again. Not necessarily a do-over. I always say the scratch track is just a parachute when you're jumping off of a cliff.
Yeah.
You know that you're going to be able to land and do it again. It's not the end-all, be-all. So do you have one in music, in life, love, whatever? Hit me. Take a minute.
Ooh.
If you got to think.
Something that I would do over again. Wow.
Or something that you want to do again. Something that was like, oh, that was good, but I want to do it. Because scratch track doesn't necessarily mean you delete it and go back. It can be, but it's something that maybe that you're like, oh man, that was so much fun. I wish I could do that, relive that moment again.
Well, there's in that retrospect, I have two.
Okay, hit me.
There was one time, October of 2019, obviously before COVID and everything, where I got the opportunity to open up for Corey Smith.
Oh,
which was a really
very
humbling
nice
experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
man. Where was that at?
It was at Water, actually.
Really?
Yeah. They were doing like a country music series.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude.
So I got the opportunity to open up for him, which was like
that's incredible,
insane.
Corey Smith is a talent, dude. He's great.
Yeah.
Is he still technically like a local guy? I mean, like he's
yeah.
I mean,
he's from Georgia. I mean, so technically, yeah.
He plays a lot of local shows though. I mean, I see him at like Janice, and he's played at the Bowl a bunch and stuff like that. Like he plays around us a lot, and my sister loves his stuff too.
Yeah. So then the other one was this was farther back where I got I was playing at a bar in downtown St. Pete one night, and
do you want to say the name? We can bleep it out.
Oh, it was. I mean, it's fine.
I played there too.
Yeah, and So my girlfriend was at the time was there, and she like looked at me and she said, "Hey, look in the back," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" I look in the back. And just chilling in the booth is freaking Eric Pasley.
What?
So he was in town doing like like those radio those radio like private concerts and stuff like that. Yeah. So he just happened to just like walk into the bar that I was playing at. And no joke, like I got the opportunity to kind of like sit with him and his band and like talk to him.
Wow,
and,
dude.
It was
that's incredible.
Not to mention that on top of all that, he was like, I played one of his songs in front of him, which was literally the most nerve-wracking thing, most terrifying experiences of my life.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, he comes up to me and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna leave, but do you mind if I play a song?" And I was like,
"Dude,
bro, like,
do it." Yeah.
I was like, "Here you go. Here's my guitar. Have fun."
Yeah, man.
Dude, it was such a humbling experience. He's also like almost 7 feet tall.
Is he really?
He's gigantic, bro.
Holy shit.
My God. I stood next to him. I'm like,
I don't know if I even know what he looks like. I want to see what he looks like. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he's a freaking...
How do you spell his last name again?
Pasley, I think? Or Lay.
There he is.
Pasley, yeah. He's just a he's
6'6".
yeah, he's just a
monster dude.
He's a genuine dude though. Like he's
Yeah.
so down to earth. Like
Wow, that's crazy.
and he writes for a lot of people too.
Yeah.
So
American country music singer songwriter, released 1 album for EMI Nashville, hit singles Friday Night, Song About a Girl, and She Don't Love You.
Yep.
Do you remember what song he played?
It was
Did he do a cover or he did one of his own?
no, he did a song that he wrote for, oh my god, who was it? It wasn't Old Dominion. It was it may have been Old Dominion. No, it wasn't Old Dominion. I can't remember who it was. But he did a song that he wrote for somebody else
That's
that
awesome.
I didn't even know he wrote, and then
that's
I was
crazy.
like, "Damn, that's crazy."
Wow.
So
That's
yeah,
a-
it was
that's a- dude,
it was
that-
such like a humbling experience, and I
Yeah.
like
What a night, dude.
yeah.
I do like that bar, but it gets a little it's a little for me.
Oh, yeah.
For me it's a little bit different. We'll bleep it out so we don't have to worry
Yeah.
about it, but like
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
I I played there at some times where like other things were going on, so like I just couldn't win, but yeah. I get that. That's a good one, man.
Yeah.
That's a good scratch track to go back and do that again. That would be fuck. Not that you do anything different, just to relive that moment.
Well, like just to relive that moment, just now, like where I'm at in
Yeah.
my music career, and
Right.
just like I feel like I'd be in such a better place where like I can have a more like genuine
dude.
conversation and like maybe possibly even get a real into the
Yeah.
hey,
I mean,
and hell, maybe even get them to fucking write a song for
Yeah,
me.
right?
Shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't be
Yeah.
complaining about
yeah,
that.
that's awesome, man. That's really fucking cool. Like that, yeah. That and you got a lot of time left in
Yeah.
this game too. And I still got to come out to see you play, man. I haven't done that.
Same to you.
We're
Yeah.
always so busy. Like,
I know,
that's
especially
the,
now. Yeah.
That's the shitty part. It's kind of like it's a catch-22 with the local musicians. There's so many people that I want to meet and talk to. This is why this is good, because we can talk and like I'm learning about you in a sense where if I came to see you play, I would only really know your set list.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know
exactly.
about you as a person, you know. So like that's what I enjoy as well. So the catch-22 is you want to be busy, but the busier you are, the less opportunities you have to see people that you want like as your peers.
Exactly.
Like I've seen, I mean I come by and like see my friends at the end of the night sometimes, but like sometimes it's just like I just want to go home most
Yeah.
of the time. You know, like I'm gassed after a gig, man. Like especially if we do like when Keith and I do those Dave Matthews tribute shows, I'm like I'm fucking out, dude. I
Yeah.
just want to go to bed. I'm tired because we don't break for 3 straight hours. Like we just go
That's- yeah.
straight through. So I'm
I've
like,
had
my
those
feet
shows.
are tired. I was like, yeah, like I just want to go home. So it's tough to maintain those relationships too, and like friendships are tough too being a musician, because most of the time when your friends are going out, it's the time where you're working, and if you're not playing at a bar where they want to go to, you just don't see them. Like I haven't seen my friends in weeks, just because I've been so busy on the weekends, and it's just one of those things where it comes with the territory. Like you want to be a musician, you're gonna lose.
It's sacrifices.
Yeah,
at the
you're
end
gonna
of the
lose.
day.
You're gonna lose some friends. You
Yeah.
know, like I mean, that's just how it was. I mean, I've lost a ton just in playing and trying to promote myself and trying to give people the opportunity to help me promote by recognizing the fact that they were there with me in the beginning.
Yeah.
And they don't really give a fuck. Some people don't.
Yeah.
But the friends that do give a shit about you are the ones that you got to keep around, man. Those are. Friends
100%.
are so important in this game, and like even like when it's a shitty night, dude, there's nothing better than like seeing somebody like walking that to be like, hey, like that's such a great feeling, like knowing somebody's coming there to come see you and just like get away from everything for a little bit, But yeah, it's being a musician is fun, man. It's a job that not many people can swing, but it is definitely something that that I love to do, and I know that you love to do also. But you got a lot of time left, man. You got a nice little head start too. So
Yeah.
I look forward to that. That's gonna be a fun time. I can't wait to come out and see you. I
Yeah.
got to get out to St. Pete more and do that. Do you have a favorite place to play that you want to plug? We don't have to leave this in, but
I don't like doing that, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
I hate it too.
Yeah.
I hate it too because
People ask me that question all the time, and I'm just
Yeah.
like,
I'm gonna leave somebody.
I
hate
do it.
I hate doing that too. But
Because there's no joke. There's some places where like one night I will hate my life playing at, but then like the next time I play there, it's amazing, and I'm just like, okay,
I have plenty of those. I don't like that question being asked to me, so I'm sorry for asking that.
Oh, no,
but
you're good. I
I just always like to get a feel of like where what kind of stuff that or if it's a place that I've played at or heard of before too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have such a problem doing that too, because I'm like, I'm gonna leave somebody out, then they're like, what about me? Like, no, I love you guys too. Like,
I love you guys too.
Yeah, I don't want to be that guy, but that's crazy, man. So yeah, all right, so we're gonna wrap this up, but go ahead and plug one more time your Instagram handles and all your music and stuff, and where they can find you for your dates and all that.
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, Chris Francisco Music, chrisfranciscofl.com is my website. I post my schedule weekly on my music page. I need to get better at actually posting my schedule on my website, but that's for a conversation for another day. But yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
All right, man.
But I appreciate you having me on here.
Dude,
this was fun.
This was
a lot
fun.
of fun.
This was fun. We got to get together and talk off mic so we can be
for sure,
we can be a little bit more uncensored, even though I don't really give a shit what I say. But so follow us on Instagram, the Scratch Track Podcast. Follow us on Facebook, Scratch Track Podcast as well. If you want to email us and Gmail us or DM, you can DM us too. But our Gmail is thescratchtrackpod@gmail. And we will be back with you again in 2 weeks on every other Thursday. Subscribe to our YouTube channel too, the Scratch Track Podcast, and share it with your friends. Tell people about it. And if you want to hear us talk about a specific album, or you want to get a musician on here that you think they have an interesting story, or that they have an interesting story, hit me up with that, and we will be on again in 2 Thursdays. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you soon.